significance as a cultural icon should not go unrecognized. Her image is ubiquitous in modern music and pop culture, and her role as a moderator and challenger to Black female identity has power. She uses her platform as a prominent Black woman to legitimize and redefine what it means to be Black and female, and the impact that this has for young women who watch this is indelible and permanent. The message she conveys is that, as a woman, it's okay to be vulnerable, angry, beautiful, sexual, and wild, and at the same time, to also embrace one's own Blackness, that the mere act of doing so is a state of activism and an act of rebellion against dominant stereotypes and representations. As Dana Chapman states in her essay Pregnancy, Then It's Back to Business, quote, successful Black women in the public eye, what they say about feminism and how they relate to feminist politics have important implications for how all women, but especially young Black women, engage in types of activism. In my analysis, I've done a close reading on Beyonce's video, Hold Up, from her new album Lemonade. In this video, I argue that Beyonce's character seeks to reclaim stereotypes of Black female identity, including the angry Black woman and the Black superwoman, and establish new representations that challenge these stereotypes. In the opening stretch of the video, we see a quiet Beyonce as she's released forcefully into water. Through visual cues, we are made aware of this character's complicity in her own silence, the way she's struggled to find peace, stability, and strength, but also access and permission for her own feelings. I tried to be softer, prettier, less awake, is one of the opening lines of the poem that accompanies this first scene. The weight of these images, the drowning Black woman floating nearly naked, hovering between two realms, is indeed symbolic. From the beginning, the story of this Black woman is clear. She's expected to stay silent, to endure her mistreatment, her pain, and to suppress her emotions. This is a major trope of Black female identity, the role of the Black superwoman. The Black superwoman is someone who's endured pain and shouldered the weight of that burden silently. They are the matriarchs, the selfless ones who've experienced suffering, but do so at the cost of their own self-valuation and self-definition. Quote, the construction of strength allows both onlookers and a woman herself to de-emphasize her struggle, to disconnect from any assistance, and to turn a blind eye to the real oppression in the context she is facing. Keeping up the appearance of having things under control often requires Black women to adopt a warrior mode. This is from an essay called Keeping Up Appearances by, her last name is Bouboff Lafontant, on page 106 to 107. What appears next in the video is phase 2 of the challenge to reclaim identity. Beyonce emerges from her watery bed, opens 2 large ornate doors, and appears, elegant as a butterfly in her yellow-tiered dress. She's born again into a new image of Black female power and authority as she descends barefoot through a flood. As the water spills out of the building, so too does her character's old ideas of what it means to be Black female and full of emotion. She's the new feminist face of Black women, and she is about to embrace her anger in a delightfully feminine and sexy way. As Beyonce begins to saunter down the street, the up-tempo reggae beat starts to play. This sweet, dancey beat becomes a new playful way to acknowledge the pain and hurt that Black women have endured, and it begins to flip the script around identity and representation. The song begins, hold up, they don't love you like I love you, and we see Beyonce reframing her image, talking back. She doesn't need to be silent anymore, and she doesn't need to let it go or forget. She's calling out whoever hurt her. In the next frame, Beyonce takes a baseball bat from a kid. He offers her the symbolic and clear embodiment of destruction, and she takes it with a smile, knowing that her anger is powerful and needs an outlet for release. She's resisting her own domination as she begins to smash car windows. This act is also about reclaiming some of the stereotypes of anger associated with Black women. In Rachel Alicia Green's Black feminist autoethnography, she speaks about her own anger and being moved by other influential Black female feminists. Quote, I felt inspired by her desire to mark our oppressors and their purposeful orchestration of Black female suffering as shameful. What Green means is that it's okay to be angry, and it's not something that should be considered low, ugly, or bad. Black women are allowed to be both beautiful and mad as hell. What's worse, looking jealous or crazy, Or is it worse to be angry and beautiful? What Beyonce is saying in this piece is that Black women are allowed to have their feelings. In this act of self-definition, she takes a feminist stance. She is replacing external dominant definitions of what it means to be Black and female with her own authentic images. Her positing observations about identity is a key element of Black feminist thought and contributes to the development and reclamation of her experience. At the end of the video, Beyonce walks off. Her final act of destruction is both literally and figuratively explosive, and she laughs. She is angry and beautiful, giddy and composed, destructive and vulnerable. Her power and sensitivity coexist, in direct opposition to what her culture has told her is permissible. By reclaiming and transforming these images, she is resisting dehumanization and other systems of domination. This is important for young women to see, and because of her status, Beyonce brings these new definitions into existence.